Like we've been through a lot, you know. The difference between now the Black Lives Matter movement been out for decades. Okay, I think that's from slavery to Black Panthers, and now they're calling it the Black Lives Matter movement. So the difference with what was going on then and the way that they're actually presenting the Black Lives movement now, um, back then, and I'm not saying like now we don't have anything to be fighting for. Now in 2020, you have more black businesses, you know, more diverse culture, you know, and in the community and whatnot. And I feel like since COVID-19 has been out now, the Black Lives Matter movement, I feel like the younger kids might have messed it up in a way for the real Black Lives Matter movement. Like we were actually fighting for our freedom and peace and to be recognized, and not only about police brutality. Now they think that nowadays for this 2020 they're doing, you know, Black Lives Matter movement based on like police brutality. It's not only that. Like everyone's really fighting for their life. It depends. Um, so I was born and I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, and I now live in Lawrence County. So when I look at the Black Lives Matter movement in Brooklyn, it's a little bit different. People are still they're destroying their own community in Brooklyn, New York. And I'm only saying Brooklyn, New York, because that's what I know. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. I still got family out there, and I see it. But when you come out here in Lawrence County, by the grace of God, I still have my business is still open. You know, my doors are still able to be opened up, and I'm not, you know, being ignorant or anything like that. It's just the mindset of the person. Everybody thinks that with this Black Lives Matter movement, you're supposed to be angry. And it's not like that. You're supposed to come as one together and fight for equality and peace. But in other places, they're not doing that. They're destroying, they're fighting each other. They're giving these, you know, racist cops and racist community members a reason to talk bad about the black community. And when I say, for in my opinion, black community, I mean the Spanish, the Caribbeans, the Asians. You know, like I felt, in my opinion, that that's what the real Black Lives Matter movement should have been about. Not only about slavery. I do believe there is a better way to protest. Um, really put the fear in everyone, and not in the whole nation. It caused it caused the government to have businesses to shut down. It caused the um the stock market to go down. It's caused so much fear in a lot of people. It's different. It's not like when Ebola was out. It's not like when, you know, anthrax was out, you know, during 9/11 time frame. It's not like any other pandemic that we've been through. This one really actually struck fear in the whole nation. For me, it has. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it has not been, although my doors are still open. Um, at in the beginning, back in March, I did have to shut my doors because for me, I wasn't fully educated on COVID-19 either. We know about, you know, pneumonia, all the types and strands of pneumonia, and the different flus that people were getting, but COVID-19 actually shut my business down. I was just moving into this building. So, financially, it was hurting my business. I wasn't able to make any money for a couple of months. So it did affect me. So my opinion on it. So let's actually go with some facts. The Black Lives Matter movement been out for decades. You know, that's Martin Luther King. He fought for our rights. You know, we have if you want to go deeper, you got slavery time with Harriet Tubman. You done freeing the slaves. My opinion on the situation that's happening now in 2020 with the Black Lives Matter movement is different. I don't like the way that it's being portrayed now. You got a lot of the younger, this generation, I would say, actually, is instead of us fighting for equality, we are fighting each other. And I think that that's the difference between the Black Lives Matter movement back then and what it is now. Due to the riots, the Black Lives Matter movement in this time is hurting our economy and everywhere else. Like, the Black Lives Matter movement hit overseas. Like, that's crazy. It's causing segregation. I mean, I'm not going to sound ignorant because segregation is already here. But it's causing even more segregation between everyone. All when we say Black Lives Matter, you know, I wonder if we're talking about just the African American culture, or are we actually talking about everyone as a whole nation? The blacks, the Spanish, the white, you know, the Indians, the Hawaiians. Like, are we talking about everyone? Because that's what the Black Lives Matter movement was back in the days, you know, making sure everyone actually are coming together. Now, me, I was a teacher's assistant here in the Lawrence County Head Start program. So when the kids are now returning back to school during the fall, that's already flu season. I do not feel safe going back to school to work with these kids, because if we start bringing the kids back into school, half of them are already coming sick. You know, they got green noses, boogers and snot coming out their nose, and some of them have asthma. And although we already had safety precautions that we were taking, you know, disinfecting the schools and stuff, with this coronavirus being out and there's no cure for it at the moment, I feel like we're putting ourselves in an even greater danger and putting the children in the front line, and I don't think that that's right. And me, I have two kids. I have two girls, 1-year-old, and I also have a first grader. My daughter, she's gonna be going in the first grade. And okay, so my opinion with that, with the COVID-19 Act, that is ridiculous. There's no way that you can actually force a parent to bring their child to school during this time, and then if we do make that decision that you're taking our rights as a parent away, that's not right. And then for us as teachers, we're being forced to work. A lot of teachers are already elderly people. Most of them are elderly people, and they stated that that COVID-19 was actually that we would actually be seeing a lot of the elderly people being killed by this virus because their immune system is so weak. But what I don't understand is, if elderly people immune system are so weak, then you have children that their immune systems are still building what sense does that make? It makes no sense at all. So I feel that we should still be practicing social distancing, and not until they actually get this pandemic regulated, then we should start school again. And when I say school, like the children going to school and to a physical school. I believe so, that it is safe at this moment with what we are facing. It is safer to have the children actually going to school from home virtually.